Yo, it's TD Show on the hot seat, Twiggy in the zone. All things ruthless, let your passion be known. Indie films and TV, we're bringing the heat. With fresh interviews, can't accept defeat. All things ruthless, we keep it real. Discussing the films, the stories that fill. From hidden treasures to the stars on the rise. Catch the vibe, see the world through our eyes. Break down the plot, sharp like a knife. Unpacking the moments that bring stories to life. In all things ruthless, it's about you. You should follow us and see it through.
Hey, what's good, everybody? It is your girl, Tika Deshawn, right here at All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. And before we dive into Kings of JOBURG, Season 3, Episode 2, I want to bring you guys an independent project. Y'all know it's Independent Wednesdays, Indie Wednesdays. And, I just love it when people are out there and they are doing their own thing. I'm super excited for the queen that goes by the name of Lily Mae Jones. I was introduced to her just watching some of her content on Facebook as well as Instagram. She was conducting interviews, and then I had the opportunity to meet her in person. And she's a super sweet, humble individual. I love the energy that she gives out. But now this queen has, she basically has a production company. They're creating projects. And this particular project right here is entitled Full Figured Flings. And it's a romantic comedy by Lily Mae Jones, a heartwarming and provocative exploration of love, friendship, identity, and the courage it takes to stand up for what's right, celebrating curves, confidence, and sisterhood. And listen to all my full figure sisters. This is for you, and this is for all the ladies, all of the ones that are looking for love, that are thinking about their friendships and identities. This is content, and it's for the skinny girls too. But this is some content I think that you guys would absolutely enjoy. I do have a clip for you guys, but let me just let you know. The log line is 2+ size models. Amber, and a fair-skinned aspiring attorney, and Lauren, a dark-skinned aspiring architect, discover their modeling agency's sinister plot to exploit colorism within the Black community. And it's going to get deep, y'all. I've seen some of the clips. It's good. It is so good. So here's the synopsis. When two trailblazing plus-size Black models expose their agency's colorist agenda with a defiant act on the runway, they ignite a movement. But behind the spotlight, a buried love triangle resurfaces, threatening to destroy their sisterhood. They risked everything to protect. And Full Figured Flings is a bold, emotional roller coaster about betrayal, identity, and the high cost of the truth, y'all. And let me make sure I have all of the descriptions, the explanations, everything that this queen and her crew are putting out there. She really gets detailed as far as what it's all about. But one of the descriptions, we've got the descriptions of Lauren, Amber, as well as Todd. So Lauren is originally from Columbus, Georgia, moved to Houston to chase her dream of becoming an architect, and found unexpected success as a plus-size runway model, challenging beauty stereotypes. Despite her accomplishments, she continues to battle deep-seated insecurities about her darker skin and curvier figure. And then Amber is born and raised in Washington, D.C., Amber is a successful full-figure runway model who broke industry norms, but her true passion lies in law. And she's now transitioning into her dream legal career. And Todd, I guess this is the center of this whole triangle, y'all. Raised in a turbulent home, Todd found stability with neighbors at age 14 and formed a lasting bond with Amber, driven by a desire for better life. He joined the Air Force at 18, served 12 years, and is now preparing to become a JAG attorney. So I really love how they have presented, the audience with the information. Who they do have supporting cast, so it's not just 3 people on the screen. It's not just 2 people in one camera. You know what I mean? There's a lot, and they're saying that the reason they want to, do this now is because audiences crave diverse and authentic stories, full figure challenges, um, conventional beauty standards, and fills a gap in the rom-com genre with humor, heart, and representation that's long overdue. So I'm super excited for all that they have, coming. Like I said, she's been doing her thing for a while. And so I'm just super excited for everything that Lily Mae and the crew have to bring to us. So with that, y'all, I'm gonna give you guys the actual one of the trailers that they have, and they're trying to put this project on Tubi, Paramount, or Peacock. They're trying to get it out there, y'all. They're trying to really get it out there, and so I will definitely add this as a separate video later on, so you guys just can be a part of the Full Figure Fling community. Okay, so y'all check this out, and I'm gonna be right back. Let's see.
Industry built on image. 2 black models take a fearless stand against their fashion agency's color, a jaw-dropping act on the runway. But as their defiance makes headlines, a long-buried love triangle reemerges from the shadows, threatening to unravel their hard-won sisterhood. Raw, rebellious, and unapologetically bold, Full-Figured Flings is a fierce, emotional ride through betrayal, identity, and the high cost of truth.
So listen, I hope you guys were actually able to view that video. If not, I'm definitely going to do a separate recap of the Full Figure Flings project. So make sure you guys just stay locked in. It's coming. It's there right now on YouTube at Full Figure Flings. So make sure you head over and check that out. And now, as we continue, we're gonna dive into Kings of JOBURG. All right. What is good, everybody? It is your girl, Tika Deshawn, right here at All Things Ruthless. Yes, I am back with another recap of Kings of JOBURG. And this one, y'all, was entitled Trojan Horse. And when I tell y'all this episode got super crazy, it really did, y'all. It took it to a whole other level. And it got crazy. Trojan Horse this episode kind of will bring you to tears. It'll have you on an emotional roller coaster, literally, as a lot of the things play out on the screen. Okay. And so in the beginning of this episode entitled Trojan Horse, we see one of the inmates that is at the same prison where Mo is located. And I believe he's literally basically he cuts himself and he starts marking up on the wall, and he's basically conjuring or trying to basically contact this spirit, this entity. And because they all are in a part of this gang called RIP, the RIP boys, it's some dark stuff. And like I said, he's marking up this whole wall to dive, bring out this entity. And this is how they're able to contact Simon Galat, the big leader of this whole crew, who is a whole demon. Mr. Galat is he's a big demon, y'all. But this is the spirit, and I apologize if it shook somebody. Yeah, this is the entity that comes out when conjuring or when trying to basically reach out to Simon Galat. And we have the queen herself, Verone, and she is, she's telling her sister, look, I need you to get some more information on this Galat guy. Like, who is he? Who does he work for? What shakes him? What breaks him? What scares him? What causes him to do what he does? And, she does the Google search and finds out that, Simon Galat is a big deal. Like, he's a part of the community. He's a person of the community. And, he's that person. And so she's trying to get some information, because at the end of the episode, of the last episode, she was told by that whole mermaid that in order for her to, or Gavin Salat, y'all, my bad, Gavin Salat, but in order for her to have that baby that she's pregnant with, she has to basically unalive Gavin Salat. And she, so she wants this baby badly. So she's going to do what, she has to do to be able to have this baby. And so, like I said, she sends her sister to, go and do some research. And she goes and talks to this guy, and he's telling her, look, Gavin Salat is not that person that you really want to mess with. Like, he is truly not that one, like, that you want to mess with. This man is into some deep, dark stuff. It's almost as if he knows everything. He knows where you are, who you're talking to. And she's bold. She's a messiah. So she's like, I don't care about none of that. I just needed to know who this guy is. And I'm not, she doesn't tell him why she wants to know who he is. She just knows that he's somebody that she needs to get a little bit more information on. And so at the prison, we see Mo, and this guy right here is Gavin's nephew. So he's a full-blown drug runner in the prison system. He not only works for Gavin in the prison, but he has his own little thing going on where, he is not the guy for people to mess with. So he moves product through the system, but he comes to Mo and tells him, look, I think you need to, we need to start moving weapons in the prison system. And Mo is like, nah, me and Gavin already have an agreement. Therefore, weapons was not on the list of things that I should be moving in the prison system. And how is he gonna get some freaking weapons in the prison system? So he jacks this guy up and is like, look, just get out my face. I told you, my answer was what my answer was. And so he says, like I said, this guy is also Gavin's nephew, but he tells him, well, you only have a little bit of time to make a decision in that aspect of what you're going to do. Mo is standing firm on what he says, but then this guy pulls up on him out of the middle of nowhere. He gets in the line. They're headed back to their dorms, I'm assuming, because they just came from chow. And he sticks a note into Mo's pocket. And the note says to Mo, TikTok. And of course, Lester is right there. He's like, what does the note say? You know, it says TikTok. And he was like, what is this? Some social media foolishness? And, you know, that's when he tells him that, you know, he wants him to bring weapons into the prison. And, you know, I'm not, you know, trying to do that because we already had an agreement of what my job was, what it is that I'm going to do, not, you know, and guns is not on the list, in other words, y'all. So Lester's going to prove to be that rider that you need. But then, y'all, we get to see Aliko. Aliko, he is another gangster in the prison, in the world of Johannesburg, in the king of Joburg. He's another king, in other words, because he is that guy that represents drugs. He is a drug dealer. That's the difference between the Messiahs and Aliko. Aliko is into the whole drug thing. He do drugs and weapons, but the Messiahs, they only do the weapons. And so at this moment, they got a visitor. This chick is saying, oh, I want Jollof. And he said, well, which Jollof is better, Nigeria or, you know, she's like, Niger. You know, she's going, you know, it was just something to pass the conversation, if you ask me, y'all, to move the conversation along. But our girl, Veron, is out there in the parking lot. And she's like, go get your boss. And the boss that she's referring to is Aliko. And so this guy is shook because he's got a blinky to his head, but he goes and he gives Aliko. And as we can see, Aliko has some things going on with his eyes. Like I said, he can conjure up some things. He can set things on fire. And he literally did that. He literally set one of her men because it was only Veron, Leon, and her other guy that comes and handles things with her, as well as two other of her soldiers, as I would call them. And he sets this one guy on fire, and Veronica's like, well, she takes a blicky and she uses her little mind control thing and takes her mermaid mind control, takes a blicky, put it up to one of the soldiers' throat and pops him. And so it was just, you know, the world of wars has kicked in. But she tells Aliko, look, I don't want no beef with you. I'm coming for a truce, and I'm about to get a big batch of a product that I know you would love. And if you to have this truth, you can take all this product that I'm about to, you know, come into hands with. You know, you can have it. I just need your help on one particular thing. And so, you know, he really doesn't know if he can really trust the situation, because Aliko and the Messiahs have been at war pretty much for a very long time. When Mo went to jail and Vero went to California, he was taking out everybody. So he doesn't know if he should really trust the whole situation. But they agree that, okay, you gonna help me with this one task that I have, and I'm gonna get you all the products, and you can have 100% of it. And so that's the agreement that they come to. So then we see where Gavin is at this, he's a man of the community, y'all, just like I said, but he starts hearing something. And so the thing that he hears is that when Lester and Leo and I forgot this dude's name, y'all. I am so sorry. It'll come to me because I've been saying it a lot. But when they go and visit Mo at the prison, and they're telling, Mo, hey, your sister is about to go after Gavin Salai. I don't know why she chose to, go after this particular guy, but she's about to go after him. And so the guy who's sitting in front of them, literally with his back facing them, can literally hear everything. As y'all can see, the tattoo on his back, the eyes literally glow up. And this is how Gavin knows that when somebody is talking about him, basically, or what they're talking about, if whatever individual, because he goes outside and he goes into this whole trance situation where he's literally hearing every single thing that they're talking about. So now he knows that the Messiahs are about to, go come after him. He doesn't know how or when. He just knows that the Messiahs are about to come after him. And so the teacher, this lady he was at this program, goes back in and says, she comes out and checks on him. He said, "Oh, my sugar, basically my sugar was low." And so anyway, y'all, he moved, they go back inside and he does his thing. But then we have Veron and her sister, and she fixes her this drink. She's literally, taking care of her. And, she's saying that she don't feel like she's going to be able to, have this baby because of all of the stress and everything. And she's telling her that Gavin Salat is not a guy that, she should really be going after. But Vero, she has no choice but to do it simply because of the fact that that's her, that's the way that she's going to be able to have this baby. Once he is gone, she'll be able to have her baby. So then at the jail, we see that there's an altercation. And this is Gavin's nephew, as well as Lester. And Lester basically ends up getting the best of this guy because Gavin put the word out to take out anything that has to do with Mo and the Messiahs. And so fortunately, Lester ends up beating the nephew. But unfortunately, that's going to spark a spiraling effect of the Messiahs versus Gavin Salat. And so Lester goes and tells Mo, "Hey, I just had to take somebody out." And he says, "Wipe, clean your face. You look like you just unalived somebody," which he did. And he tells them who it was that, he did what he did too. And he said it must be an inside thing they must know something because normally we had an agreement, the Salat family and I had an agreement, and RIP boys had an agreement that nobody would touch you unless, there would be no reason for them to touch you because on the strength of my name. So something is not right. So anyway, this other inmate goes into the kitchen where that altercation just happened, and he sees that there's a body laying there. He tells the correctional officer, "Hey, look, it's a body right here." And so now there's going to be this whole big old investigation. Who did it? How did this all happen? How did this come about? Lester, of course, is going to plead the fifth. Like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't there. He's going to play his role for sure. And this police or this investigator, of course, he's there to do his job. He don't trust anything that Lester is telling him, but, he knows that, hey, it's your word against nobody's, because there was really no witnesses. And so the line is lining, y'all. They have a long line to let everybody, basically they got to go answer the questions. When something happens in the prison, it's a whole investigation. And that's pretty much what it was. This one guy had his uniform hanging half off, and the correctional officer does his job, tells him put his uniform on, and so then Mo goes in and he has to talk about it. Like, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. So they really don't know who unalived Gavin's nephew. But then we have a conversation where Gavin and his guy Karim, Carrim, they go to the hood, y'all. They in the hood, and this dude, Gavin gives him some hand sanitizer. I'm gonna back just a little. Gavin gives him some hand sanitizer. He wipes his hands, then he gives him a tissue to, wipe his hands with. He throws the tissue out, and Gavin is telling him, "Look, this is not how you keep your community. How else do you expect to have something nice when you're just messing up your community?" So Gavin, even though he's satanic and demonic and evil all across the board, he still is trying to do the community thing and get this guy to, be mindful of your community. Take care of your community, in other words. So then we see Gavin, and Gavin is in the shower, and we find out this Gavin finds out that his nephew has been unalived, but then there's a message in the shower on the mirror that says unalive them all. So now Gavin is about to go into action because he doesn't really know, full on what's going on. He just speculates that Mo is trying to set up something against him. And this is the thing that it's like Mo basically is having to pay for the sins of his sister, which is almost like the same theme in the very first season where he was paying for the sins of his brother Simon. So I don't know, but then Leon is talking to Veron, and Veron was like, you used to work for Gavin and you didn't feel the need to, tell me that you used to work for him. And, he was like, well, I just didn't want to say anything in the midst of I was like, bruh, didn't you see what she did to the rat, the dude that they call the rat? Like, why wouldn't you disclose that information to Vero? But at the end of the day, she don't really trust these two guys because they really are loyal to Mo no matter what. But at the end of the day, it's almost like she really don't have a choice but to, I won't say she won't keep her eyes out on them, but she's going to trust them just enough just to, do what she needs to do. And she tells them, we're going to go and by the way, this guy, the other guy is named Sting, y'all. I forgot to tell y'all his name is Sting. But either way, the plan is for them to go to Cape Town, and they're going to have basically a meet and greet with Gavin Salat, y'all. And of course, like I said, this is Sting. I don't know why I forgot his name, but I told y'all it was going to come to me. But that is Sting. So Sting and Leon basically are the people that work for Vero. And she's planning, y'all. She's telling them, y'all don't have a choice. We going. And she's so persistent about going to meet up with Gavin Salat because she wants this baby. And she knows that the plan is to unalive Gavin Salat, but the way that she's going to do it is by taking over his drug situation first and then turning all of that stuff over to Aliko and then unaliving some kind of way, unaliving Gavin Salat. But this is Toto, y'all. This is Mo's son. And right now, Toto, he has a strained relationship with his father, but he's still trying to be the best father that he can be by, reading books to his baby girl at night before she goes to bed and, just actually trying to be an actual father. But then he goes and he talks to his wife and tells her, I think it's time, even though, because the baby girl asked about her grandfather. She asked about Mo. And so he's telling his wife, I think it's time, that I go and, break the pattern, break the chains, go talk to my father and, just, try to be in his life regardless, because I don't want that to be the same pattern that our baby girl has to go down, the same road that she has to go down. I don't want her to see the negativity. So they see somebody outside of their window, like bright lights literally shine on them outside of their window. And so Toto, which I don't understand why he would go out there, but Toto literally goes outside. Like, first of all, your gate is locked and nobody can get in unless they literally just break in, like unless they ram the car through. But Toto went outside anyway to see what was going on, see who was out there. So this guy was saying, it seems like we lost and we're not from here. And we just want to know, the map is telling us to go here, but, it's like taking us in circles. So Toto leans into the car and this dude pops him multiple times, like pow, 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 pow. Like, and then he plays it out because there are two witnesses that pass by. And unfortunately, he ends up unaliving Toto. And y'all, like I said, this is Mo's son. Mo is in prison right now. And somebody is going to have to go and let Mo know that his son has been unalived. And with that, y'all, he gets a visitor. The very next day, he gets a visitor and he goes to visitation, and it's Leon. And Leon is telling him, Leon is looking all like, man, I really didn't want to tell you this news. It's unfortunate, but your son, Toto, has been unalived. And the whole time, Mo, before he even finally got the words out, Mo was, he was like, okay, just be honest with me. Just let me know what it is. Let me know what it is. If you've watched, you guys, if you have watched Kings of JOBURG, please comment. Let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling about this latest episode of Kings of JOBURG, episode number 2, entitled Trojan Horse? So anyway, with that being said, it is made known to him that his son has been unalived, and just as any reaction would be, he is not happy whatsoever. He is, screaming. He's upset, and I do have a clip that I want to share with you guys real quick. But dang, I hate this. I hate this for Mo. Lester doesn't really know what is really going on. He just knows something isn't right. There's something that would cause Mo to have this type of reaction. And of course, the devil himself is basically hearing the pain and the anguish that Mo is actually going through. So y'all check out this clip, and then I'll be right back to wrap this thing on up. And that was it, y'all. That was the end of episode 2 entitled Trojan Horse. Mo has just found out that his son has been unalived by the Salat family, the RIP crew. And he's not taking it very well. He is not taking it very well. So with that being said, make sure you guys tap in next week as I recap episode number 3 from season 3 of Kings of JOBURG. I'm absolutely enjoying this whole JOBURG, Kings of JOBURG universe. They've been out for a very long time, doing their thing. The Ferguson Company, as well as Samad Davis. They South Africa. Shout out to South Africa, y'all. That's all I can say, really. Shout out to South Africa. They are literally doing their thing over there. And some of us, they've probably been doing that thing for a long time, and some of us are just catching on. But I'm all in, and I'm so excited to bring you guys episode number 3 recap on the following, coming up next week, y'all. So make sure you lock in, hit that like, hit that share, as well as that subscribe button, and tap the notification bell so that you can receive reminders of all of the Ruthless content, y'all. And make sure y'all check out Full Figured Flings. Again, I'm going to do a separate video for Full Figured Flings, just so you guys can get an idea of this independent company, this independent project, okay? All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. And, it's been lovely chatting with you guys for today. Your presence, as always, is my present. So thank you so much for coming through. I do appreciate you, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of
Down the
your
plot,
evening.
sharp
All
like
right?
a knife, unpacking the moments that bring stories to life. And all things ruthless, it's about you. You should follow us and see it through.